Peace and blessings, family, and welcome back to another episode of Heal with Angelica Watters podcast, where we discuss all things healing. And on today's episode, I have a guest joining me today, author SHERIDA Robinson, as we will be discussing today's topic, the Emerging Lotus, a story on how to embrace the past and reintroduce a new you. Sherida, I am so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
Yes, ma'am, I am fine. Thank you so much for asking, and thank you again for joining me today. Now, before we get started on today's topic, do you mind letting our audience know just a little bit more about you?
Of course. I am author Sherida. I'm a mother of 3 kids. I am currently an upcoming actress as well. And this right here is thin, but it's my soul in one little booklet. And I promise you, like, it will definitely help someone. If it don't help you, it'll help someone you know. I am so grateful to actually be moving in, living in, working in my purpose. I have continuously tried to figure out what is my purpose, what is my purpose. From job to job, from good pay to no pay, to doing something that don't feel like work that actually makes me feel good. If I can turn my pain into purpose and help somebody else and it's effortless, I have no problem with doing it. That's
Ooh,
for me.
I love that, Miss Robinson. Thank you so much for that. Yes. Now let's get started on today's topic, the emerging lotus.
Mhm.
So, to define a lotus rise from the mud without stain. They are often viewed as a symbol of purity, since they return to the murky waters evening and open their blooms at the break of the day. Lotus flowers are also symbols of strength, resilience, and rebirth.
Mhm.
And that brings me to my first question for you, Sherida. What inspired you to write this book?
The number one thing that inspired me to write this book is the fact that I had, like I said, had been going from job to job to job, feeling like, oh God, I'm tired of working these dead end jobs. To doing real estate school, it took me 5 months, and still the market goes like this, and feeling like, "Oh, what am I gonna do now?" To
Yes.
um, actually trying to act and write a book. Um, and ups and downs with my kids. So I have an 18-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 12-year-old. Well, she'll be 12 in September. But actually just trying to balance life.
Mm,
Also been trying to pack away pain.
yes.
I tried to do it my way. My way wasn't working. So when I just sat down and got out of my way and said, okay, God, what do you want me to do? What do I need to do? So I took everything that I have been going through since childhood to now
Mm-hmm.
and I put it on paper. I write it down, I journal a lot. And that's what inspired me to do my book. I wanted to turn my pain into purpose. And I promise you, once I did that, I felt a load off of me. I felt like I had delivered a baby.
Ooh, yes, yes,
New
yes.
addition to my family. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I love journaling. I definitely love that you use that to express yourself. And with you using that, you created a book out of that. It's so beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Now, can the audience know just a little bit more about the book? Can you tell us more about the book, The Emerging Lotus? Give us a little detail. Not all of it, but
As I said before, I knew deep down inside I didn't want to go on, continue to carry my pain packed away inside, feeling like I knew things about me that people could see without me telling them. So I feel like, okay, people continuously reminding me of things I've done in the past, or constantly reminding me of things or ways I acted in the past,
Yeah.
but not knowing the true the purpose or the reason for these things happening. Not once that I want a pity party or try to play victim, because I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. And I'm continuously healing, and I never ever once wanted anyone to feel sorry for me or anything,
Mm-hmm.
because that's part of my journey. And we all have a journey. But this book simply tells you about my journey. And hopefully, not hopefully, I know that this book will help a lot of young ladies, a lot of mothers, a lot of fathers, that's been absent in a kid's life and want to figure out how to fix it, or young men that will eventually be fathers,
Mm-hmm.
young who will eventually be mothers, and even teen mothers. Or if you're pregnant now
Yes.
and you feel like your life is over with, no, ma'am, it's not. It is not. It is just the beginning. God give his toughest battles to his strongest angels. And trust and believe me, that's what you are. So read this and work on this. This is gonna help you. Look how thin it is. I promise you. But it's like worth $1 million worth of healing in this book.
Yes, yes, I love it. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
That's a
So,
snippet. I didn't want to give it all. So
yeah, I know. I definitely know. I know. You got to buy the book. You want to know. Yes. Definitely understandable. Now, I know that you spoke on basically you going back into your past and addressing some of the issues that you went through in your younger childhood days.
mhm.
Now, um, you being who you are now, and we always are different, we always changing. Now, what conversation would you have to your younger self now?
My younger self, I will grab myself by the hand, and um I will love on my younger self, because I will be to my younger self what I needed as my younger self. I needed someone to console me and love me on my level of love, my level of understanding, someone
Mm-hmm.
that could relate to me and know how I feel. I think that's what a lot of people need right now. Someone that they can relate to, not just someone telling them what they think things should be like or what it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
like. So I would tell her to continue to hold on, and that everything happened for a reason, and to turn her pain into purpose. Mhm.
Wow, I love that. Would that also be advice for anyone else that is going through I would say some shadow work and addressing their younger self? I think that's what um I want to do. Like if I wanted to address my younger self, do the same thing that you did. Love on my younger self and just be what I wanted at the time.
Oh yeah.
Because yeah, it's very detrimental because like when you go back to the things that you've been through in the childhood, like I had addressed my daddy issues, and when I went back to my past, that was the only way for me to kind of figure out, like, whoa, I got daddy issues, and didn't even know it. So,
Mhm.
so
That
being
too.
able to address those issues, and then going back to your younger self, reparenting yourself, I want to say, and re-nurturing yourself is a beautiful thing, and definitely recommend anyone that is going through just a period of trying to get to know their self. It's beautiful. I love it. Now, you spoke on some of the things that you've been through in your past, some of the past traumas, and in the book, you discuss in regards to being molested. Now, how did you manage getting past the trauma of being molested, and what advice would you give to someone that may be going through that or has went through that and haven't gotten through it?
I actually forgave the person that did it to me. I actually forgave them. Um, I made sure that yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, give us a moment.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry. That was
You're
my kid.
fine.
That was my kid.
Yes, ma'am. Listen, we gotta do what we gotta do for our kids now.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, his helmet right there. Football practice. I'm so sorry. He's getting ready for football practice. Listen, I'm a mom. I'm so sorry.
No, you are fine. You are fine,
I'm so
beloved.
sorry. He's getting ready for football practice. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
No, you okay, beloved? We still rolling.
Okay, so I forgave him for that. I forgave him for what he done to me. It took me a very long time. It took me having a child first and going through that trauma with carrying my child in my stomach and him feeling and carrying those pains that I was feeling, because you pass those things on to your kids when you're feeling away and you're pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know the things that I know now, I will encourage anyone and everyone to forgive and forget and pray hard and
Yes.
daily cleanse yourself, your energy, your soul, and your mind. Because holding that in don't do anything but make everything continuously worse. Forgiving that person helped me take control over things, because I grew up feeling like at an early age I was already worthless. I was already feeling like I was a whore, or I was never going to be able to be a wife or amount to anything because of what I had encountered during that time
Mm-hmm.
in my life. But that was one of the things I had to do to get over it. I had to forgive that person and let them no longer hold that over me. Because as a kid, and the person that harmed me was a deacon in my church and my mother's landlord. So it's almost
Oh
as if,
wow.
how can you escape these things?
Mm-hmm.
For a minute, my mother didn't have a vehicle, so he was our transportation as well. It's like, what do you do? And everybody growing up, I came from a family of people always in church, different denominations. I tell you, I was in a church. No matter what the denomination was, I grew up in a church. It was not
Yes.
the same, but I was at a church. My great grandfather was a preacher, but this particular church was my mother's church. That wasn't my grandmother's church that I normally would go to. And it's as a kid, you feeling like you go to the church to seek God, to get understanding and wisdom as a kid. how can you escape the devil when he's at church waiting on you to get there? You
Mm.
bench beside your mother and they staring you down and it feel like fire on your face because you look over and see them staring at you and you're
Yes.
supposed to be in church listening and learning about God. You timid at church, you timid at home, you timid everywhere you go, you timid at school because you feel like the kids can see what did happen to you, what you done been through. Is just like all over you.
Yes.
A rough life, a rough experience from the start.
Exactly.
So like, how do you escape that? And that's what I had to do. It took me a while. Like I said, I had to forgive him. I had to forgive him.
Ooh, wow. Forgiveness is powerful. And I believe that a lot of the times we don't want to do that because we're just so angry just in regards to the situation and what happened. And sometimes some people don't even take accountability for their actions. So for you to not even hear that I'm sorry from that person or
Mm-hmm.
forgive me from that person kind of makes you like, why should I forgive them? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what? No, but forgiveness is not more so for them, but it's for yourself. And learning to just forgive for yourself brings you so much healing. So much
Mm-hmm.
healing. I can definitely agree with you with that. So thank you so much for sharing that. Oh my gosh. Because I know a lot of people, um, there's a lot of people that go through that in their childhood and don't speak on it at all. I was sexually abused when I was a young girl and didn't want to tell anyone because I thought
Mm-hmm.
that I was going to get in trouble. I'm like, I know I can't tell. And then when I told, I was so scared. I hid. I hid in the closet. Like, no, I'm sorry for saying anything. My mom was
Yeah.
like, what? What do you mean you're sorry? It's okay. I'm glad you said something. Why didn't you say that? I'm like, I thought I was going to get in trouble. Oh my gosh. So, I
Blackmail
just,
for so long about that.
ooh,
I mean, like,
yes.
so if I said anything that he would put us out of the house.
Oh, that's worse. That's even worse.
If I said something that God was gonna take me to hell, like all that I had to deal with. And I kind of felt like, I was sacrificing us somewhere to stay because as a kid, my mom moved a lot and I just wanted us to
Yes.
have a stable place. I didn't want us to get put out,
Oh my
especially not
gosh.
on my behalf. So,
Yeah, you being a young girl, like you not really understanding. You just, someone like was literally taking advantage of you and threatening you and you just being young and loving your mother and stuff like that. You didn't want nothing bad happening. So
right.
us being able to have those conversations with our children is very, very important. I'm not saying that I don't know if your mother had that conversation with you in regards to anyone. If I know when I was younger, like don't let nobody touch you down here. Don't let nobody do that. But I heard it, but when it happened, it scared me. So I just didn't say anything at all. So yeah, whew, it's serious.
It got to the point where, I didn't want my mom to give me a bath anymore. I wanted to give myself a bath so
Mm,
it wouldn't come to the light, and it had to be where she knew something was going on and we had to move. Like I said, I just did everything I could. I feel like I was an adult before I was an adult.
dog. Mm,
I had to make decisions that adults would have to make at an early.
exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Now
well,
after writing this book, I have people to write. I had people to ask me like, I read your book and it seemed like everybody's just so mean where you come from. And it's like, everybody not gonna have the same kind of life and the same experience. And nowadays I don't look at it like everybody was mean or everybody hurt me or everybody did me harm. I feel like that was just part of my journey. It had
yes,
to happen in order for me to be the woman I am today. Like
exactly.
it ain't there is nothing anyone in this world can come to me and say to Sherida, that I done that I have not already put in this book,
Mm-hmm.
already admitted to tear me down because this is strength in its fullness right here.
Yes.
Only me can hurt me. And I thank God every day for the strength He gives me to encourage someone else. So
Exactly, exactly. Oh my gosh,
um,
it's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, if you all are enjoying this episode just as well as I am, please show your support by donating today for more free and powerful content just like this. More info to donate will be listed in today's show notes. Now, let's get back to today's episode, the Emerging Lotus. So I do have a few more questions before we end today's show, Miss Sherida. Now, what advice would you give to other women who have experienced verbal or physical abuse?
in my book, I wrote a detailed prayer to
Mm.
my Heavenly Father. Um, I hope you all embark upon this book and get this book, and it's gonna be on page 71. It's a detailed prayer that I prayed for me. Um, I prayed to God and I asked Him specifically. You have to be specific with your prayers. For Him to, I consulted Him on leaving my marriage that I didn't consult Him to get into.
Mhm.
I got out of it due to physical and verbal abuse. And I would tell any woman today, um, you're only tired when you know you're tired. I didn't
Mhm.
write the book to tell anybody leave your husband, leave your spouse, leave your boyfriend or your kids' fathers. I didn't do that for that reason. I simply did it to tell you what I did for me. Um, I couldn't stay any longer, and I will encourage you if you feel like you can't stay any longer, don't continue to do it, especially with children. Kids are like sponges. Kids soak in things, and that's
Yeah.
what I did as a kid. I noticed my grandfather did it to my grandmother, my father did it to my mother, and I found myself marrying somebody just like those
Yes.
guys. Uh, that made me the fourth generation of women to experience it. My great grandmother, she didn't get a chance to live to tell anybody because due to domestic violence. So
Ooh.
yeah,
Ooh.
I broke that chain. It stops here. It stops right here. So
Yes. Yes. Say it stops right here.
yeah.
Absolutely. 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 I love that. I love that. Now, I just now kind of really got down deep to what really is generational curse. Now, I want to ask you, what do you believe is generational curse and how can it be broken?
Um, generational curse to me. You know, I didn't look that up. But generational curse to me is ongoing thing. First
Mm-hmm.
you gotta be willing to admit and know that that is what it is. Trickling down from one generation to the next. Um, to me, it's just a curse. It's just a curse, and it can be broken. It can be broken. Um, it take a strong-minded person to want to do it, and it take a team and a multitude of trust, love, faith, and I think wisdom to do so. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it take a chosen one to do so. A lot of people before me may have dealt with the same things or even worse than me, but didn't have the will to say so, the courage or the knowledge to do what I'm doing today. And I
Mm-hmm.
know 20 years from now, even when people say, oh, I don't even know why she wasted her time or why she even did this is going to help generations, my generations, to come know that Sherida Robinson, which may be their great grandma, great
Great, 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 great.
she made a difference. And I know and I feel and I have faith that it stops here, right here. That's
Yes.
how I'm working it. I'm ending it. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I love it. When I think about generational curse, I think about the continuous mindset of our people, and us not being more self-aware of ourselves, and more self not being self-aware of our actions, and how much our actions can play a huge role in our children's life and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I guess with me having my 1 year old, my son now, I'm trying to be more aware of the things I do say, because of course, like you said, they soak in everything. Because when I look back at, because you spoke on domestic violence, when I look back at my past relationships and me being in domestic violence situations, I look back at, okay, was my mom in one? Yeah. Was my dad? Was my grandma in one? Yeah. Was my grandma in one? Yeah. This is the curse that needs to be broken. And
Right.
like you stated, when there is wisdom, when you acquire wisdom, that's when you know it stops here. Let's break that chain. So I had to really inquire that wisdom and put it into play, apply
Mm-hmm.
it. And
Mm-hmm.
that means having more standards for myself, learning how to say no, and just not continuing a cycle that I have already seen from my past and from just my parents in general happening to me now. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Sherida. Thank you again for joining us today and discussing this well needed topic, the emerging lotus.
Thank
Also,
you.
yes, I would also like to give a special thank you to my amazing audience and healing tribe for joining us today. I pray today's episode was informative and valuable to you all. Also, be sure to give us your feedback, share, and subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes on your favorite podcast station and or on my YouTube channel, Heal with Angelica Watters Podcast, to help get the message out to those in need of healing. Also, if you are ready to start your healing journey, join me one on one in my 12-week intense Heal Yourself coaching program centered around you taking your power back and embracing the healing powers that is already inside of you. At the end of this program, you will have all the tools you need to heal yourself. Link is in the description to sign up, as well as my new release ebook, Heal Yourself. I will also leave info in the description so you all can connect with my guest today, Miss Sherida Robinson. Sherida, before we end today's show, do you have any closing remarks for today's audience?
Thank you for having me today, and would like for you all to embark upon this book here and read it, read it, read it, read it, read it. If you don't want to read it, pass it to someone you know that it will help. It will also be coming into audio form as well.
Ooh.
It's on Amazon now and Barnes and Nobles now. Go cop the Emerging Lotus. You won't regret it. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, yes. Make sure you guys get that book. It's very inspirational and can definitely help those in need of healing. So, again, I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you again, Sharita, for joining us as well. And we now leave you as we came. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.